Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Wake Up American. This is our daily American English pronunciation show where we help you to sound a little bit more natural in American English by doing pronunciation practice every single day because that is what it takes. It takes showing up consistently every single day, regardless how you're feeling and things like that. Try to get in your 5 to 10 minutes of practice. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. If you haven't met me before, hello. My name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath, which is one of the 4 keys to a natural sound in American English pronunciation. Those keys are placement, breath, pitch, trying to weaken your vowel sounds, trying to strengthen your consonant sounds. And we're going to be talking about all of those things today as we focus on our main topic of interest, which is going to be the L sound, specifically the dark L sound. Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you've heard of a dark L sound and what that means before we start diving in. A dark L sound is a little bit different than a regular L sound, but honestly, in my opinion, it's actually the more frequent consonant sound. You may be used to pronouncing an L sound with the tip of your tongue right there against the top of your mouth on your alveolar ridge, that little bump behind your tooth. So it sounds kind of like l, and that's fine. You can certainly make an L sound like that. But the reality is, if you actually listen to a lot of native speakers when they're talking naturally in conversations, you will find they're not actually making that l sound. Instead, what's the sound they're making? They're making an sound. It sounds a lot different than an L, right? So if you're not used to that, this can feel like, oh, this isn't even an L sound. I think it's helpful to just kind of start treating it as a very unique new sound. Our goal is like, oh, oh, oh. Now, before we dive into things, I do just want to give a shout out to our pronunciation group on Telegram. That's where all this is from. So, on our pronunciation group on Telegram, what happens is I give them words, kind of like what happens here on the stream. I give them words, I give you words. The only problem is when we do the stream, I can't hear you. Just can't hear you. You're too far away. You're not with me on screen. So that's why we have the Telegram group. On the Telegram group, I put in these words and then people send me audio files. That's what you see on screen. You see those little blue triangles and things like that. And those audio files on the left, those are students who send in files waiting to get feedback from me for pronunciation. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you want to get a little bit of feedback from me every single day of the week, including the weekend. Let's get our 3, 4, 5 minutes of pronunciation practice in every day. You can go to fluentamerican.com/telegram and register. Currently have about 4 openings in the group. That sounds like something you're interested in. This L sound, like I mentioned, typically, especially when it's found at the end of a word, is not going to sound like L with the tip of your tongue against your top of your mouth. Instead, it's going to very often sound like oh, where the back of your tongue is a little high and the front of your tongue is down. If you have trouble getting the back of your tongue high, if you're like, what does that even mean? What does it mean to have the back of your tongue high? I'm going to give you some points of reference. When you say an ah sound, like in hot or stop, ah, that's the back of your tongue going down. Ah, ah. Conversely, when you say the the L sound, I don't want to use that. When you say the G sound, when you say G like a g, g, that's the back of your tongue going high. Compare ah, g, ah, g, ah, g. So the dark L sound is going to be a little bit lower than that G. Okay, it's just going to be a little lower. It's like So it may help to say like a word like go or even just a GL like go, 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 go. Because sometimes what some students are doing is they're just saying like or just saying like oh. It's not the same thing as an O sound. It's an O sound. Compare O, 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 O. Towards the end, we can also do some practice just to compare those two sounds. All right, let's take a look at our words here. And I'm going to add a word as well to this because why not? But our first word, trouble. trouble. And here's the thing also with these final dark L sounds that I should mention before we get too deep. When you're pronouncing these dark L sounds at the ends of words, one last huge tip: these dark L sounds are typically not the stress part of the word, which is very important for us because that means that we're going to go lower in pitch. It's also going to be faster, it's going to be weaker. Do not be too balanced with your pitches or your stress emphasis. We want that last part to be very fast and to be very weak. So, for instance, trouble, trouble. No, so I'm not saying trouble, trouble. No, it's trouble, trouble. It's very fast and weak. It's just a quick buh, buh, buh. May help it even if you just like whisper it a little bit. Try to get it even weaker. Buh, buh, buh. Trouble, trouble. The next one, level, level. Notice again, it's not level, level. It's more level, level. The other thing you're going to notice, level has two L sounds. You can use a dark L for both of those if you want. The tip of your tongue can stay down the entire time. Level, level, level. I don't know if you can see it. It's my tongue down. Level, 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 level. Versus level, level, level. You can hear how the sound changes a little bit. Air gets blocked off. Placement can rise. So we want to try to keep everything down and keep things open. Level, 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 level. Tip of my tongue down. Our next word, middle, middle. Again, it's not middle, it's middle, middle. I'm also using a fast D sound or flap T, however you want to call it, where I just raise and lower the tongue very quickly. Middle, 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 middle. Our next one, several, 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 several. So it's not several. Notice another thing that's happening there. That second syllable is not pronounced. So instead of saying several, it's just several, several, several. Our next word, bubble, bubble. So again, not bubble, it's bubble, bubble. The next two words are a little bit unique. We have some diphthongs and we have some, or we don't have diphthongs, excuse me. We have some long vowel sounds. Long vowel sounds basically just mean that when we add an L, it's going to break into a firmer syllable or a second syllable. So it's not going to be tr, it's going to be try. And then we're going to add a very light, fast, dark L again. Oh, trial, trial, trial. It's not trial, it's trial. No, so it's like two syllables pretty much. Trial. And our last word, feel, feel. Again, I strongly recommend having the tip of your tongue down here. So it's not feel, it's gonna be feel, 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 feel. A couple of additional words that we've gotten. We have valuable, valuable. Two dark L sounds again. So I recommend for both of those L's trying to keep your tongue down. Value, value, a bull, a bull. Valuable, valuable. Notice that vowel is the stress. So hold that nice and long. Val and everything else you can speed up. Valuable, valuable, valuable. And one last word here, gullible, gullible. Once more, we have two dark L sounds. So instead of saying gull, might help to say gull with tip of your tongue down, gull. And then we have able, gullible, gullible. Again, keeping those final syllables really weak and low in pitch. Let's say all of these words two times. Trouble, trouble, level, level, middle, middle, several, several, bubble, bubble, trial, trial, feel, feel, valuable, valuable, gullible, gullible. How'd you do? Keep me posted. I want to do a quick comparison between a dark L sound and just an O sound at the end of a word because those tend to be confusing. Give me a moment to add these. Let's do a couple just to make sure that you can start paying attention to the difference between them. All right. To demonstrate that this O sound is not the same thing as a dark L sound, the first sound is going to be an O, O, O. The second sound is going to be an O, O. When you say oh, the back of the tongue is not quite as high as it will be when you're doing an oh for the dark L. See if you can hear a difference. What we'll do the vowels, then we'll do the words. So oh, go, go, oh, go, go, oh, to, oh, to, so, sol, so, sol, oh, mo, oh, mo. Excuse me. Let's do it one more time. Oh, mo, mo, ro, roll. How do you feel about those? Keep me posted on things. And once more, if you're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, I don't know if you're doing it right either. Only way I can find out for sure is if I get to hear you. And again, just a reminder, that is what our Telegram group is for. If you go to fluentamerican.com/Telegram, this is what it looks like. People send in their audio files. Later today, I'm going to be sending the group these words that we talked about today so they can practice and they will get feedback from me on their pronunciation. I would love to be able to do the same for you if that sounds like something you are interested in. Thank you guys for spending a little bit of your time with me. If you're in the US, good morning. If you're in Europe, good afternoon. If you're in Asia, good evening. We appreciate you being here with us. There's a million pronunciation resources out there. So the fact you spent a little bit of time with us is greatly appreciated. Once more, my name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. That's one of the 4 keys to natural sound in American English. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning with more Wake Up American. You guys take care. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon.